Jack Posobiec said he thought there's actually a 3-tier justice system. This is a little bit of an aside, but that there's the protected class, there's the plebes, the regular people, like everyone else, you know, and then there's the persecuted class, which is like a unique class, like Julian Assange, or at the moment Donald Trump,
or J6ers.
Exactly. I guess so. Yeah, where it's like it doesn't really matter what you've done. They want it's personal kind of class of people.
There's the persecuted, the protected, and then the we don't care. The we don't care people can get scooped up and pushed around sometimes, and sometimes they get ignored. There might be someone who committed a crime, and they're like, oh, I don't know about this, whatever. Then you have the protected, the political elites and their cronies and their followers and worshipers. And then you, of course, have the persecuted, the people like the woman in Alaska whose home was raided because she looked like a woman who went in the Capitol building. That's crazy.
You know, I actually went to the D.C. Gulag. I was allowed in to visit a prisoner. And just the fact, just going in was completely dehumanized. If you ever want to come in, I can get you in too. But I went there to meet a guy named William Cressman. This is a great example of what Jack was talking about. This guy has not been charged with any violence. He's a military veteran. He's not been charged with conspiracy or organizing anything. He's just a guy who showed up. He was arrested in January of 2021. He still doesn't have a trial date.
Wow. And
they have denied him his psychiatric medicine. They have he's tried to keep journals, and they just come through and throw all his papers away. He's not been given, he has 2 daughters that he had not seen for those 2 years plus, 2 young daughters. And he was finally going to get to see them the week after I was in to visit him. And that is just, whatever the wildest thing in the world they wanted to accuse him of, that they might even charge him with, he would have already had time served. But they're keeping him in there in dire conditions, still not a trial date. Military veteran, not charged with any violence because they can. Because not of what he did, but because of what he believed. And that's a great example of what Jack Posobiec's talking about.
Is this the indefinite detention because of the clause in like what the NDAA, I think?
No, it's worse. This is unjustified constitutional violations.
Speedy trial, man. It's right there.
So, I mean, where are we at? Is someone going to file a lawsuit or something to get some movement on this?
You know, he's been doing his best. His lawyer's been doing his best, but they just keep blowing. Not, like I said, not even a trial date, not even bail. He's a clean record. He's a military veteran. He fought for this country overseas. And, you know, the only thing that I've been doing a lot of things on this field. The last thing we have decided is that the only person who's really going to be able to make an effect on this is the next president. So we've launched a project called the J6 Question. We're paying $1,000 to anybody who will ask one of our presidential candidates what they're going to do for the J6 prisoners. And I'm very happy to say that today we actually cut our first check for $1,000. We announced the project 2 weeks ago. Somebody asked Asia Hutchinson, got it on video. We've been presenting it.
Wow.
So the only person who can really fix this is the next president. So we're going to get them on the record now so voters can be informed going to the ballot box in terms of how these people are going to handle what I believe is the greatest civil rights violation of our day.
How many people are in prison right now from January 6th?
We've got 141. In fact, there were 42 people just arrested last month. And
Whoa.
The DOJ has plans for another 1,000 to be arrested. There are a lot of them that are still in jail without a trial date, without any opportunity for bail, and they're just hanging out there.
How many people have been let go or have been released?
Quite a few hundred. The thing is, and this is the most disgusting part of it to me, is that the Department of Justice's attitude is that you might be able to beat the charges, but you can't beat the ride, and you can't afford it. So a lot of people are just taking a plea agreement to just get out of it, even though they're not guilty. And in fact, I really have to admire William Cressman because he was offered a plea agreement. He had to do 2 things. He had to agree to the 2 lesser charges, and he had to condemn President Trump.
Wow.
And say that President Trump was the one that made him do it. And he said, that's just not true. And I'm not going to admit to something that isn't true. So he has put himself through this like a martyr. And I cannot wait for the day that he gets out and that he can tell his story publicly, because it's that was the ask. You have to condemn President Trump, and you have to plead to these other charges. I'm not guilty of any of it.